Welcome everybody to our webinar, Unlock Performance Max Precision, Insights from G-Shock. We'll give it one more minute to let some other people who are rolling in, so we will be right with you. Okay, I think we have a lot of people on the call. So again, welcome. Before we get started, I wanted to do a little bit of housekeeping. So if you have questions, we like the webinars to be interactive as though they're in person. So if you have any questions, then feel free to just go ahead and post those questions over there in the GoToWebinar control panel on the right. I'll be monitoring the questions as they come in and weaving them into the webinar as we go. Also, at the end, we're going to do a quick survey at the end of the webinar. So we would love to get your feedback about the webinar, the content, the value that you got out of it. And then also, as a reminder, we'll be sending out the webinar resources, and we'll do that within 24 hours. We'll be sharing out both the recording and other related resources. So very excited to get started. So we're going to go ahead and jump right in. So today's webinar is about unlocking performance max precision using insights from G-Shock. So we have Helen and Angela with us, and I want to let them do a brief introduction of why they're here today. So Helen, I want to start with you.
Oh, hi, my name's Helen Dooner. I'm a PPC analyst at a performance marketing agency called Journey Further. I've been working in paid search for almost 4 years and have experience across a variety of different clients in different sectors. And Casio specifically, I've been working with for 2.5 years now.
Great. We'll turn it over to you next, Angela.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Angela Peral, Customer Success Manager at Adthena. I'm responsible for helping clients to successfully achieve the outcomes that they want to achieve by the end of the year or in the partnership that we have. I've been working with Helen for a year and a half, and I've been working in paid search for over 5 years. Time flies. For those who don't know Adthena is a competitive intelligence platform that helps agencies and brands dominate the competitive landscape. And now I'll hand over to Gary.
Great. Thank you so much for those introductions. And I am going to eventually step out of the way and let Angela and Helen talk. But before I do that, I wanted to just kind of set the stage with Google Performance Max. And I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with Google Performance Max. And it's really about Google optimizing all their channels. And their promise with Performance Max is about unlocking new audiences across all their channels, not just search, but YouTube, Gmail, display. And they really are talking about driving better performance against specific business goals. And part of the Google Performance Max is about getting more insights, more transparent insights, and talking about steering automation with different campaign inputs. And we've been very closely monitoring Performance Max with our entire user base all around the globe about these different promises from Google. And I'm going to share some survey results with you. But before I do that, and like I mentioned, we like to keep the webinars interactive as much as you can make a webinar interactive. So I'm going to start with the first poll and just kind of get a sense of your level of adoption with Performance Max. So go ahead and, if you don't mind, fill in the answer to the poll. And if you can see the poll, just hit, just provide the answer there. And very good. So let me go ahead and reveal these answers. I can figure out how to do this. So I'm going to go ahead and continue, and I'll reveal those full answers for you as we as I'm able to find them. So we surveyed our user base at Adthena, and we asked them these questions about Performance Max. And just to give you a sense of the landscape of the Adthena customers, we typically work with global agencies, global brands, and marketers, and you can kind of get a sense of the team size here, and you can get a sense of the monthly paid search spend across the different responses that we got in the survey. And you can see with Adthena customers that 66% of our customers are using Performance Max. And you can see the various ways that they're using it. They're not testing Performance Max in some cases. They're testing Performance Max alongside their Google search campaign. And then you can also see how they are evaluating the different aspects of Performance Max. So the settings and really the lack of keyword reporting is the biggest thing that they are reporting on. They don't have that keyword reporting and they don't have asset insights. So Performance Max, while it's great to optimize different things across the Google channels, is consistent that we're seeing with our customers that really the lack of reporting and the lack of insights that they're not able to get from their Performance Max campaigns, and then also the lack of control. So this is consistent across our user base. We sent this survey out in the summer of last year, and we sent it out again a few months ago. And you can see here that the poll results, I think that you can see the poll results, correct, Angela?
Yes, we can.
Great. And I can't see the poll results. Can you just share the poll results there with everybody by reading them off the screen?
Sure, yeah. 79% said yes, 21% say no, and no one said not sure.
Awesome, great. Thank you so much for that.
No worries.
So you can see that it's consistent. Let me close this, thank you. You can see that it's consistent. So when we surveyed our user base, it was roughly 65%, and roughly 75% of you are using Performance Max. So as me being an avid reader, I like to break webinars into different chapters. So the 4 chapters that we're going to talk about today is first one is to optimize the negative keyword list via shared library. Second one is expand your asset groups. Third is to boost campaign learnings and ROI. And then the fourth one is using custom segments within audiences. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Angela and Helen to kind of dive into this first chapter, optimizing negative keyword lists. So Angela, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you. If you don't mind, you can talk about this chapter.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Gary. So Performance Max campaigns has only been around for a year and a half, but the real breakthrough came after the first upgrade from Smart Shopping campaigns to Performance Max campaigns back in September 2022. It has some limitations. Whenever you run PMax campaigns, there's a limited visibility on insights, your overall performance, and also the set stems that you're appearing for. However, today we have some good news for you because in Adthena we have the solution. There are 2 things that I wanted to mention in here. Is the first one, the fact that we can provide you with full visibility on what's happening on the SERP. We can provide you with insights at set stem level or even category level, alongside the device split, desktop and mobile, and also the ad copy type, text ads and shopping. With this, we can also provide you with insights in different metrics. For example, we have metrics such as share of clicks, share of impressions, share of spend, average position, average cost per click, and many more. And the second important bit that Adthena can help you with is the fact that we can share with you the full list of terms that you are appearing for. What I usually do with clients is to review the full list of terms, flag the ones that I feel that are not relevant to their strategy, and then share the terms with them. Once I share the terms with them, they decide the ones that they want to negate because they may agree or not on the suggestion that I made. And then we add them straight away to the negative keyword list. Something to note in here is that before we had to share the list of negative terms with the Google rep, but now The negative keyword list is available in Google Ads, which has made our life so much easier. We can action everything faster, and we can get great results even faster than before. Now I'll hand over to Helen, who is going to run through the success story we achieved with G-Shock.
Cool, thanks, Angela. Yes, so with G-Shock and with Adthena, we were able to see the shopping terms that we're appearing on. So within Performance Max, you've obviously got shopping, and for retail clients, shopping makes up the vast majority of the share. So with Casio, there are multiple divisions, including watches, pianos, calculators, etc. So we have the separate accounts for these within Google Ads, and with Casio watches and G-Shock watches, which are in two different accounts, we wanted to make sure that we weren't double paying for the same search terms, basically, because we wanted to appear for G-Shock terms for G-Shock, and we wanted to appear for Casio terms for Casio. We were able to see what search terms that we were appearing for within the Performance Max campaigns for G-Shock with this tool. And we're then able to negate these from the G-Shock campaign. And as a result, looking at the Casio watches data, we would be able to save 19.3K a year in savings just by doing this. Also, when we had a look into the Casio watches ad account as well, we saw for the specific terms that we negated, cost per click dropped by 23% as well. So savings on double spending, but also savings on cost per click too. So yeah, really useful.
Oh, I think you're on mute, Gary.
Thank you. Thank you for those insights. We did have a question that came in that was relevant to this specific slide. Helen, I think it's kind of directed toward your part. Was it easy to identify specific keywords that you needed to negate, and how did you go about doing that?
Yes, so within Adthena, you give them a list of keywords to start off with, but they're able to pick up on search terms that your competitors are appearing on as well. So the fact that we could see that Casio was appearing on G-Shock within the interface, we're able to see that the specific keywords that basically that both of them were appearing on, and with that we were able to find out the keywords, like for example Casio watches or Casio vintage watches, which apply much more directly to Casio watches themselves, the website casio.co.uk, as opposed to G-Shock. So yeah, it was fairly simple to identify these.
Great, that's great, thank you. The next chapter is talking about expanding your asset groups copy. So go ahead and try the poll again. I'm going to pop up another poll question, so bear with me. So if you can just kind of give us a sense of how many asset groups you're using in your campaign. So if you could just take a minute or two to just apply an answer there for that poll, that would be super helpful. And as you're answering that question, I'm going to go ahead and advance it to the next slide. And go ahead, Angela, are you able to see
Sure.
the poll results?
Absolutely. 34% said only one asset group, 62% said I have more than one asset group, and 4% said no, not sure.
Got it. Thank you for that. And before we move on to this chapter, I want to go ahead and answer another or ask another question that came in. I think it's relevant. Have you found a way to bid on specific keywords and or search terms in PMax campaigns with shopping? So that is towards you, Angela or Helen, if you have a answer off the top of your head for that question. If not, we can save it for
Um,
the end.
Cool. So in terms of like specific search terms that we want to appear for Performance Max, no is the short answer. I think that the best bet to try and go after these terms would be to really hone in on your audiences and make sure that you're targeting your the right audiences. But I think that that's a bit of a spoiler for in a next few chapters, so I won't say anything more.
That's great. I'll go ahead and advance it to the next chapter, which is on expanding your asset group. So go ahead on this slide, Angela. I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you so much. Right, so as you may know, whenever you run PMax campaigns, there's very little visibility on which is the ad copy that performs best. However, in Adthena, we have another solution for you. There's a feature called top phrases in Adthena, and in there, we can filter by one category, one ad copy theme, for example, to actions, incentives, credibility, etc. Then you can also customize the day range. You can look at the last 7 days, last 14 days, or even the last 30 days. And once you have your filters in place, you will be redirected to a chart that looks like the one that we have in the slide. As you can see, we have 3 different metrics: percentage share of clicks, percentage share of impressions, and average position. At first glance, you can see that the most popular words are leading and official. So what I usually do with clients is, first of all, understand what's performing well for competitors, then double check whether the client is appearing for the term or not. And if they are not appearing for this word or phrase, then I suggest them an ad copy variant that they could potentially test. Once they review this, they decide whether they want to go ahead or not, and then this leads to an increase in CTR. At the end of the day, we want to provide you with more visibility on what's happening in PMax campaigns and make sure that you increase your performance. So this is one of the options we have available.
Great. Thank you, Angela. Helen, do you want to add anything to that, or let me advance this slide?
Yeah. In the second slide, we have another feature that can provide you with more visibility. This feature is called Top Adverts. As you can see, we have the domain name of each competitor, the screenshot that we took from the SERP. As you can see, the ads are ordered from the largest to the smallest estimated impressions, which means that you will see the most popular ad at the very top. Then you have the average position. Please note that T stands for top and B stands for bottom. So this means that we saw the first ad in the top 1 position. The system that triggered this ad, something that is not available whenever you run your PMax campaigns. The frequency, how often we saw this ad live on the SERP, and the display length. If it says current, this means that the ad is currently live, whereas if it says more than 1 week old, this means that the ad is currently paused. And if the ad is currently paused, you have the start date and end date. What I usually do with clients in here is to make sure that we understand which is the ad that is performing best for them, and also run the same analysis for their competitors. Something to note in here is that you can apply filters in this view. And you can filter by competitor, competitor groups, one set them, categories, which is the same as set them groups, or even ad text. Ad text is something that I use strategically with clients, because if they are running a promotion, I filter by ad text equals percentage off to see all the discounts that we have live on the SERP, and then see if the discount that the client has live on the SERP is the strongest. If they have the strongest discount on the live on the SERP, then I always encourage them to push to maximize demand. And last but not least, another project that we usually work in regards to PMax is by adding a parameter in the final URL. Whenever we add a parameter in the final URL, we can differentiate from the PMax ads versus the non-PMax ads. And that's another way for us to report back to the client, as in which is the ad copy that is performing best. Now I'll hand over to Helen, who is going to give you her experience using these two features.
Cool. So specifically for G-Shock, we tend to use the percentage off report. So we're able to, basically, we filter the ads within the interface with for a percentage sign. With that, we were able to see what competitors are in sale, how aggressive their sales are. It also helps to explain like sudden dips in performance or increases in performance. Maybe a competitor was no longer in sale, for example. It's also good to see like how competitive we are in terms of price. So with G-Shock, they have a lot of retailers that sell their stock, and also affiliate websites as well. So you're able to see what they are offering to, and yeah, basically just gives you a bit of a more clear picture on what's going on, other than the metrics that you can see within Google Ads.
Great. We did have a question that came in that I think is relevant to this section. So I'll go ahead and ask this question now, and either Helen or Angela, you can take it. So can you expand on seeing insights and data between asset groups? For example, I've created separate campaigns with one asset group each just to be able to compare the data. So can either one of you field that question, please?
Yeah, I can take it. So we will have to understand which kind of asset do you want to analyze, whether this is in text ads, whether this is in shopping. After that, we need to know, for example, if this is a text ad, then we will have to know the headlines that you are using in case we can differentiate from one to another. We can try to use the different paths or parameters that you can add in the final URL. Every client has a different strategy, and we want to tailor this to clients. So it's like a very broad answer that I can give you, but we will have to analyze which kind of assets you are testing and ways we can use Adthena for, as in ways to filter by ad text, by final URL. There are millions of options available, but it will be tailored to the client.
That's great. Yeah, it's often hard to answer specific questions on webinars because it often does depend on other variables and factors. So I think that's a great answer, Angela. Thank you for that. We're going to go ahead and advance to chapter 3, which we will be talking about boosting campaign learnings and return on your investment. We're going to start off the chapter with a poll question. So let's pop up the poll question, and if you could provide a quick answer if it's easy for you to get insights or visibility into your performance campaign. So I'm going to go ahead and launch that poll, give you a few minutes to provide a quick little yes or no answer. And Angela, if you could share the results, if you're able to see them on your screen as the answers come in, that would be amazing.
Sure. I'm going to leave this run for a couple of seconds, and then I will read this because it's constantly changing. So just bear with me.
Yeah, it takes a few minutes for the answers to come in as people are reading the question and that sort of thing. And usually it's really good to just kind of get a directional understanding of the audience and that sort of thing. So feel free to share the results whenever you're ready.
Right. So 12% said yes, 79% say no, and 9% said not sure.
Great. Thank you so much for that.
No worries.
So next chapter is, like I said, boosting campaigns and learnings and ROI. So we'll go ahead and jump to this chapter, and I'll turn it over to you, Angela.
Thank you. Right. So in this chapter, we are going to run through terms that you might be missing out. Whereas in chapter 1, we were running through all the terms that you are appearing for. This is the exact opposite. Terms that you are missing out on your Performance Max campaigns. Some of the things that Adthena can provide visibility on is, first of all, the market trends feature. In here, this is just a screenshot of the market trends feature. You will be able to see performance split by device type, by channel. You can see in here text ads, but we have another section for shopping. we also have organic data. So if you apply a change in your PPC activity, you will be able to see the impact in organic. And in here, you can filter by set stem. Within the set stem opportunities tab in Adthena, you will be able to see terms that you might be missing out that your competitors are using. Then you can go in here into market trends. You can filter by the set stem that you are trying to decide whether you want to add it or not, and then see the performance for this particular set stem for your competitors. This will be one of the ways we can help you with. The second option is another feature called the head-to-head comparison. This is a screenshot of how the head-to-head comparison looks like. As you can see, you can add manually up to 2 competitors. You can filter by device type, ad copy type, text ads or shopping, and set stem group, which is more or less the same as a category. Once you have your filters in place, you will be able to see one bubble per competitor. And when the bubbles overlap, this represents the set stem that they have in common. So you will be able to export the data and filter by the ones that you have in common, and most important, for the ones that you are not appearing for, that your competitors might be appearing for. So this will be another way for you to find set stem opportunities and make sure that you add those into your non-PMax campaigns to make sure that you have a full set stem coverage. This is very aligned to the question we had before. So we always recommend to run PMax campaigns versus non-PMax campaigns to get more visibility and gain some control back on the set stems that you are appearing for.
Great, thank you for sharing that.
Oh, you go.
I'll turn it over to Helen now and add her perspective on this.
Cool, thank you. So yeah, search term opportunities feature in Adthena is really useful. You're able to see those search terms that you're not appearing for, which is great. Another pain point with Performance Max is the lack of visibility insights at a channel level. You aren't able to see specifically where the money's being spent. Is it shopping? Is it display? Is it video? Or is it search? At Journey Further, we have developed a bespoke script that you can apply at account level. This then extracts all the available information you can get currently from Performance Max campaigns and uses modeling to figure out the missing data. You can see in this snippet, you're able to see the breakdown by channel. So this is for G-Shock specifically, but as you can see, the bottom left-hand corner, it is the percentage split of spend. So we'd like to see this, obviously, considering that these campaigns have been upgraded from smart shopping, that the majority of the spend is going through shopping. But you can also see there, for example, at the bottom line, that display and also search is starting to creep in. So it basically just gives you that extra insight into what's going on within the campaigns. So then you can look to improve a specific campaign accordingly.
That's great. Thank you, Helen. It was perfect timing. So some questions came in right before we jumped to your slide, and then your slide answered the questions that came in. So that was perfect timing. Thank you for that. The fourth and final chapter of today's webinar is talking about creating custom segments within audiences. So I'm going to turn this section over to Angela. We'll start with you.
Nice one, thank you. Right, so there's a lot of alignment between this chapter and the previous one. Overall, audiences in your PMax campaigns are very broad, and something that we usually do is to have a look at the set stem opportunities or terms that you are missing out that your competitors are appealing for to make sure that we target a niche area. That would be our recommendation to make sure that we are tailor the search for the customer. And now I'll hand over to Helen, who is going to run through her experience using this feature.
So within Adthena, you're able to see a lot more competitors than you are in Google Ads, which has been great. So We then use these competitors and create custom audiences off the back of them. So we are targeting these users too, or these customers too, because more than likely, if they're going to buy from your competitors, they will buy from you as well. So it just also helps to tailor the audience to the right, basically to the right audience, and gain those customers from your competitors, hopefully, ideally.
Great. Thank you for that. And then I want to just, out of curiosity, would like to launch another poll question. I know Gary and his polls, but it's really the only way to interact with a webinar audience that I've found. So just out of curiosity, I'd love to know if you're currently using audience targeting for any of your search campaigns. So I'll go ahead and launch this poll, and we'll give it a few minutes for you to click yes or no, and I will have Angela read the results as they come in. If you could share those, Angela, whenever you feel comfortable sharing them. I'm sure they're all pouring in right now. So
Yeah, the numbers are changing. Just bear with me one more second. All three. Yeah, I think now I can read that. 76% said yes, 15% said no, and 9% said not sure.
great. Thank you for sharing those with us, Angela. So let me go ahead and close the poll. So we did have some more questions that have come in. I just want to make sure that we have addressed all the questions. Yeah, there's a couple that are more generic, so I'll save those for the specific Q&A section, which is here. So I think this might have been answered in your slide, Helen, but I just wanted to go ahead and ask it and make sure all the question was answered. So I'll go ahead and read it. This is, when it comes to reporting on performance results of Performance Max, are you able to present cost, impressions, conversions, conversion value, et cetera, for the different Google channels? For example, the difference between shopping, search, display, and video ads. And I think, Helen, your slide that you presented really talked about that specific thing, correct?
Yeah, definitely.
Great.
So it basically pulls all the information that you possibly can from Performance Max campaigns, and then off the back of it, you're able to work out the different channels. Also with this, you're able to, it's not shown in this report, but because we've got all the data, you're able to see asset group level performance, which is an additional there that you can't actually see within Google Ads. So very, very useful when you're actually wanting to know what's going on, because otherwise I feel like Performance Max is a black box product.
Gotcha. Very good. Thank you for that answer. There's another question. I think this is geared, towards Helen. Let me just go back to the question. So, Helen, how do you or your agency go about keeping up and testing new innovations and updates from Google when it comes to Performance Max? Do you have a systematic approach, or can you just share a little bit of insight there?
Sure. Well, as an agency, we are testing first. So I think there's a new beta actually within Google Ads that allows you to test the removal of brand terms from your Performance Max campaign. So basically, as soon as we see something that we deem as useful, we go ahead and test it, whether that be testing creative like asset group versus asset group, or whether that be testing having all products in one Performance Max campaign or splitting them out separately. It really depends on your own KPIs and what we see works best for the account.
Gotcha. That's a great answer. Thank you for that. And there's a couple more questions. I just want to kind of try to prioritize them based on time. So okay, here's another question about negative keyword list in Performance Max. We're still going through our Google Rep to add keywords to the negative keyword list. Is there a more efficient way that you do that at Journey Further, or how do you go about doing that?
So yes, so I think that with regards to by campaign level, going through Google Rep is probably your best bet, but you are now able to add account level negatives. So for example, the example we gave before with G-Shock, because we know that we don't want to appear on the whole account for these terms, it was quite easy to just add them at account level, basically ensuring that we're not paying double for specific search terms.
Gotcha. That's awesome. Thank you for that. And yeah, I think those are all the questions that we have time for. Just one final poll, and as a reminder, we will be sending out this recording and related materials within 24 hours. Do want to just float out this poll. If you are interested in talking more with Adthena, feel free to just simply say yes or no in that poll. And with that, I appreciate you taking time out of your busy day. Thank you very much, Angela and Helen. It was awesome to get 4 really key takeaways of how you can really use Adthena to optimize your Performance Max campaign. So thank you again, audience. Thank you again, Angela and Helen. And I hope that everybody has an amazing day. Thank you.